Example 1 measurement conversions. There are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. How many yards are in 2 miles? Well, our first task is to convert our 5,280 feet to yards, and then we can work from there. So basically we know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. And so since we are going from a smaller unit, feet, to a larger unit, yards, we're going to divide. And we're going to divide 5,280 by 3. And when we do that, we would get 1,760 yards. So we can take that amount, 1,760 yards, and then it asks, well, how many yards are in 2 miles? And all I have to do now is multiply that by 2. And we can see that we get 3,520 yards in 2 miles.
Example 2 with measurement conversions. Last year, Rebecca made 24 1-cup servings of juice for a fundraiser for her volleyball team. This year, she will make 2 times the amount of juice that she made last year. How many gallons of juice will Rebecca make this year? So a couple of important facts up top there is last year Rebecca made 24 1-cup servings of juice. This year, she's going to make 2 times the amount. So in other words, we need to take 24 and multiply it by 2. So we know that this year she will make 48 1-cup servings. Now we're trying to figure out how many gallons of juice Rebecca will make. So we're trying to change 48 cups into gallons. So if we look at our reference sheet, we'll see that 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, 1 quart equals 2 pints, and 1 pint equals 2 cups. Or in other words, we could say that 1 gallon equals 4 times 2 times 2, which is 16 cups. So then we could take our 48 1-cup servings and divide it by 16 to get 3, which means that Rebecca will make 3 gallons of juice.
All right, example number 3, fractions, decimals, and percents. The directions say to complete the conversion table below. So it looks like what we have to do in our first row is we have to convert the fraction 1/4 to a decimal and a percent. We can change any fraction to a decimal by dividing 1 by 4. 4 goes into 1 0 times. What we have to do is we have to add a decimal and a 0. 4 goes into 10 twice. When I multiply, that's 8, and subtract, I get 2. Add another 0, bring down the 0, work on top of the 0. 4 goes into 20 exactly 5 times. So when I multiply, that becomes evenly 20. As a decimal, 1/4 is the same thing as 25 hundredths. We can write the fraction 25 hundredths just by saying 25 over 100. We can see this fraction similar to a rate. This rate could be called 25%. The fraction bar represents the word per. So when you see it, 25%, you say it, you can write it, 25%. Some of you might see that we can change any decimal to a percent by moving the decimal over 2 spots to the right. So if we're to use this idea in our decimal 2/10, the second row, I can move my decimal over 2 spots to the right. So when I do that, we would end up getting 20%. This decimal, 2/10, when you say it, is 2/10. You can also say 20/100. The last row here, the only information we have is we know the percent is 8%. So when you see it, you say it, you write it, 8%. You can reduce that down into 4/50ths or 2/25. Those three fractions work. Continuing, moving back to 8% or 8/100, you can say that another way, 8/100. 0.08 is another way to write 8/100.